going on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about official pressings versus counterfeit pressings and what to look for when it comes to buying import pressings. This is a bit of a hot button issue in the vinyl community when it comes to these specific type of records that people gravitate towards but don't necessarily know what they're buying. So this video is definitely targeted towards any new vinyl collectors out there, or simply any collector that is aware of this aspect of collecting and wants to learn more about it. There's a lot to get through in this video, so enough of the chit chat. Let's jump into what this video is all about. It has been seen more lately that records of a specific nature pop up at record stores or online for sale, and it's usually records that are relatively rare, highly sought after, often expensive, and then all of a sudden there are minty new copies for unbeatable prices. Those are what we call counterfeits. Now, most people would call these unofficial pressings bootlegs, and while what they're saying is on the right track, they are misusing the term bootleg. Bootlegs are recordings that are never intended for commercial release by the artist or label, and these can range from audience recordings, soundboard recordings, demos, radio broadcasts, things of that nature. The right word these people should be using is counterfeit, and counterfeits are products that are replicating a product that already exists but is in all essence a fake. Now, what type of releases are counterfeited? In most cases, it will be releases that did get a vinyl release at one point, but have become increasingly hard to find due to the fact that they're either relatively valuable, extremely expensive, or hard to find since they are out of print. For example, the Beatles yesterday and today. You'll find yourself paying the price of an insurance policy to get one that is completely intact or in some sort of state in regards to official pressings. If you want to just have it due to the historical nature of the album cover and the lore that entails with it, $30 will get you there in most cases, depending on where you buy these types of pressings. Or sometimes in a case like Kiss a Sonic Boom, where there was a limited vinyl pressing of 5,000 copies on different color vinyl, usually goes for about $300 on average. You can hunt down a counterfeit copy for roughly $30, sometimes having the poster and the gatefold, or sometimes in my case, a single sleeve. It'll definitely get the job done. Or in some cases, there will be counterfeits of older pressings of albums that are rather unique. A perfect example that I have for this video is this copy of Led Zeppelin II. This is the Turkish pressing, which comes with an entirely different album cover as well as back cover art. It is a full down of the stereo mix, so it is presented in mono and it comes on colored vinyl. Actual copies of this go for $400, whereas this pressing right here I bought for roughly $30. And the same can be said with Van Halen's A Different Kind of Truth. The sole pressing of this album that came out back around 2012 goes for roughly $400. This right here I got from Roland Rex for around $30. And aside from records of this sort, there are counterfeit pressings of albums out there that have never seen a vinyl release officially, such as Paul Stanley's solo album, Live to Win. So those examples right there give you a bit of context as to what albums are subjected to being counterfeited. Now, how can you tell what you're buying is a counterfeit? Some of it boils down to the appearance. If it comes in a resealable outer sleeve and there is a colored sticker that says limited edition colored vinyl, then it can certainly be a counterfeit, and you'll see these stickers appear with both counterfeits as well as bootlegs. And then the artwork can also appear to be pixelated. God knows what was used, whether it was a sort of scan of the actual pressing or a CD. One example that I will show from my personal collection in regards to this is Linkin Park's Live in Texas, which for the record never got an official vinyl pressing. This is the first time it was ever pressed on the format. And if you can look kind of closely, the artwork does leave a bit to be desired. It's a bit pixelated in some places. And then sometimes there may be a different barcode on the back or different credits. So something like that is a very easy indicator. And then sometimes, depending on the release, it will replicate all aspects of the original release in regards to the gatefold or inserts. Or sometimes you'll just get a basic cover and the vinyl and absolutely nothing else. So it more or less devalues itself if it doesn't have everything that the original had. Hell, my unofficial copy of Van Halen's A Different Kind of Truth comes with this printed inner sleeve, which features a photo from the Women and Children First album. And here is a brief article from Rolling Stone magazine from 1998. Just a total hodgepodge, but hey, what matters is the music. And then we get to the sound quality. Now, if you are an audiophile or simply one that cares about the sound of vinyl, you may want to steer clear from these kinds of pressings. Of course, this info is never disclosed, but it could be sourced from anything, such as a CD, a high-res file, or an MP3. Honestly, anything but analog sources. And then the quality of the vinyl can also vary. Obviously, these aren't going to be pressed at any reputable vinyl pressing plant, so some of it can be very noisy, or if you're lucky, it may be quiet. So all of it very much varies. Now, this is where I play devil's advocate because, and I say this with no ego intended, I would say that I am a seasoned buyer/collector enough to the point where I can know what I'm buying. And as you saw in the examples that I've shown on camera, I do own some counterfeit pressings. And you may be asking, given the stance on them, why do you have them? Because I want certain albums in my collection that I'm certainly not in a position to spend several $100s on, especially if they're single albums. For example, Kiss's Sonic Boom. Kiss is my favorite band of all time, and back when this came out in 2009, this was an exciting time because it was the first Kiss album to come out as brand new during my lifetime as a Kiss fan. And yes, in 2010, when the vinyl pressing came out officially, I was not a collector yet, so I completely missed the boat. And sure, I could have had opportunities to pay upwards to $300 for an official pressing, but that right there is most of a week's paycheck, and I am certainly not in that position to spend it. So just to simply have a copy of it for my listening pleasure without the whole bells and whistles of the whole, collectability behind it, it's just simply nice to have. Now, down the road, if this album were to get reissued, or if any album that I showed got properly released on vinyl by an artist or label, then I will certainly rid my counterfeit copy, so it basically serves as a place order in case that time comes. It just goes to show that there certainly are demands for any record that gets counterfeited and sells in large amounts. Now, why labels wouldn't want to reissue these titles is beyond me, but there could be some internal politics that prevent it from happening. But the big issue is people buy counterfeits unaware of what they are buying, and they think that they are getting a good deal on them. It goes to show that if it's too good of a deal, then it all isn't what it's cracked up to be. Some people, like myself, may buy counterfeits knowingly of what they are, but still want that album for themselves on the vinyl format. The biggest issue with counterfeits in the marketplace is transparency, and this goes for record stores and individuals that sell them on eBay and Discogs. The vocabulary will be distinctive because, let's face it, bootlegging and counterfeiting is criminal activity, so nowhere you will see a listing of a record being a counterfeit. Most times at record stores, these records will be listed as being an import, which there is a bit of truth there since most counterfeits and bootlegs do come from Europe. Sometimes they'll be listed as being unofficial, which is transparent without it sounding too severe. But another big issue is sellers that are trying to pass these things off as being official, which equals out to consumers paying way too much than what they should be paying for a counterfeit product, which in return affects the overall value of the actual product. But then on the other hand, the artist isn't getting properly compensated, and for as much as us physical media lovers are for supporting the artist, these types of products totally defeat the purpose. In this aspect of vinyl collecting, knowledge is key, and it's easy for someone who isn't knowledgeable to be ripped off or simply not know what exactly they bought. So hopefully all of the points that I made in this video made you guys more aware of counterfeit vinyl pressings, what to look for, and what they consist of. For those out there that are aware of these pressings, I hope I covered all the bases. If I missed anything, please shoot a comment down below. I'd love to know. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support this channel, be sure to check me out on Patreon. See you guys in the next video. And most importantly, keep the records spinning.